Hey guys, thank you so much and welcome to the Game Your Future podcast. I'm Daniel and I am joined today by Thomas Ivy's Ivy. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah,
Uh,
just like the plant. Yeah.
Perfect. And Thomas has worked formerly with Salesforce, big CRM, but is really now focused on helping the small business owners with as a growth consultant and really helping with like these kind of like Google reviews and the use of AI to help answering questions. So Thomas, thanks so much and welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And you're a gamer yourself, I heard, right?
Yeah, well, I used to spend a lot of time doing that in my younger days, when I would say in my 20s up to late 20s, I spent a lot of time with like Street Fighter and Final Fantasy, things like that. Yeah.
I love it. Yep, those that know that I love me some Final Fantasy. That's fantastic. So tell me a little bit about how you went into this kind of growth consultant, right? So you mentioned you worked for one of the big companies like Salesforce, and then you moved into being a growth consultant, helping small businesses. So tell me about what that transition was like, and then especially what it is that you do and how you help now.
Okay, yeah, great. So, yeah, I have a lot of friends that are actually contractors, so I'm really familiar with the small business space. I even used to be an electrician, and so I used to do a lot of side jobs and stuff like that. But um, in my role as a Salesforce administrator, one of my jobs was to work for a small consulting company to help small businesses grow. And so a lot of my clients were people at like 10 employees or less, And so I really enjoyed uh, adding real value to them, automations and things that they would need that they couldn't hire somebody to do themselves full time. I would do it for them, and I can see that value, especially when it was like nonprofits and stuff like that. So I eventually decided to branch out and do it on my own, and so that's what I do.
That's fantastic. So, you mentioned a key point there, which a lot of people kind of, I think, miss when we go into kind of this working environment, the working world, that really you enjoy what you do, right? Did I hear that correctly, right?
Yeah,
And,
that's exactly right.
and so doing that from the corporate standpoint and being able to kind of go off in your own direction, but doing what it is that you love, right? So like kind of your passion around this, and so bringing that enjoyment and that that joy with you, I think is so powerful because there's so many people out there that are like they go to work for the paycheck, right? I'm just here for a paycheck, clock in, clock out, and then when I get home, that's when I can have fun,
Hmm.
right? So tell me what it is that helped, I guess, shape that, I guess, while you were working, because I know that there's be plenty of people that would love to know, like, okay, am I just in the wrong job, or is it do I need to change and just try to enjoy what I'm doing, or like find the joy in it, or like what? Tell me about that kind of journey and what you would say to those kind of people that are just in it for the paycheck.
Yeah, I would say sometimes it has to do with um, working. If you're an employee, think about the company you work for. I mean, or make a decision based on what they do. Like one of the companies I worked for was a payroll company for small businesses. So just the thought of the how it is that the work that I'm doing, even though I'm with a big team, big IT team, all types of business analysts and programmers and stuff, the end goal is we're helping a business pay their employees. That was the end goal. So even though I'm with a big company, I know that my efforts are really helping, the small coffee shop or the small electrical company and stuff like that. That really helps out, really knowing what the business does, the value they add to the world.
Okay, so it's really like looking beyond just this the simple work that you do, right? Because I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that will look at like just say payroll and just be like, you just work with dollars and money, and that's maybe
Mhm.
that's boring to people, right? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're looking at kind of the benefit, like what is the result of it after the fact? It's like you're actually helping ensure that people get paid, and so there's kind of that more meaning that derives from that, right?
Right, right, right. And like right now, like when I used to work as an electrician, all right, so a lot of times my wife would call right when I'm up on top of the ladder and I got my head up under up under the ceiling, above, over the ceiling tile, and I'm looking and I'm trying to work, got tools in my hand, and she calls and I can't pick up, right? And so now what I do is I know about contractors, how they're under houses and they're trying to work, customers are calling, but they can't answer the phone. And so the customer is just going to call the next business. So if I'm able to set up a solution where somebody answers the phone, talks to them, that's a big win for them. And so knowing things like that really add value, and it gives them a peace of mind knowing that I'm going to have something that's going to answer the phone. That's a big win.
That's yeah, that sounds amazing because we've heard so much. I think in kind of this kind of the growth space, the consultant or the coaching space, that you really want to meet the customers, meet the clients where they are,
Hmm.
right? And so I think that's such a great analogy. So for those that have heard those kind of words, what does it mean? Like I think you're a perfect example of that, where it's like if they're trying to find a solution and they call, if you don't answer, that's a missed opportunity, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Exactly.
love that. So tell me a little bit more about that kind of what you do now, right? So we mentioned kind of this as an example. So,
Mhm.
what does it mean to you as what is a growth strategist or a growth consultant, and how is it that you help? You mentioned with Google reviews and the use of AI.
Right. Yeah. So really simply, the bigger companies usually already have a solution for this, but the mom and pop shop, somebody that's got, they're a plumber and they got a couple of trucks on the road. The owner himself is actually doing the work, and he might have one other guy with him. They have issues where number one, if they don't have enough Google reviews or Facebook reviews, they don't get a call. For example, you start a business, more than likely, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to build out a website for people to see you.
Yep.
But if you if you don't have enough reviews, is somebody going to even look at that website? You know? How often do you look for a restaurant to go out, eat with your family? I mean, do you even look at the menu if they had just a few reviews, right? It's the same thing for a contractor. And so they don't have a way to be able to consistently get reviews, which is going to consistently give them more calls. And so I have a process that will give them a solution for that by simply texting the customer and remind them if they forgot to actually put in a review, right? The other thing is they lose money or they miss out on opportunities because they're so busy.
Mm.
Just the other day, it was last Tuesday. I was trying to call a chiropractor. I called five of them. None of them picked up the phone. Only one got back to me, and it was like probably about 3 hours later. You know.
Mm.
So what if that those chiropractors actually had a voice, a AI voice that answered the phone, got the information, and then asked them a question. So when would you like to have a call back? Would you rather have a call back in the morning or the evening? Or the person can ask questions. What types of services do you provide? Those types of things are that's the solution I have to give to people. Trained AI voice agents that answer the questions and get the information to the business. And it's not a voicemail. It's nothing like voicemail. Totally different.
Okay, so you're talking about using AI for like the actual interactivity over the phone, right? So like there's an actual voice talking to you, right?
Right, right, right.
Okay. So that yeah, so much more interactive as a result, much more engaging, right? Because I know because I think there's plenty of people, maybe even like myself, that were like, you call, you get even the voicemail, like they don't pick up. It's like, oh, you can leave a voicemail. It's like I'm not doing that. I'm just going to call the next person. I want to actually talk and actually make sure that something's going to happen, right?
Hmm. In fact, I have to train it to say I am an AI voice agent, or else I actually think it's a real person because
Oh wow, it's
I'm
like it's
so
that good. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's awesome. It's amazing how fast that stuff is coming and how powerful it can be.
Hmm. Exactly right.
Yeah, because what we're talking about is like really leveraging your time, right? Because you mentioned like you're so busy, and
Hmm.
so part of that to me, because you hear people that'll say like, "Well, I don't even have time to invest in what you're doing, Thomas, because I'm too busy,"
Hmm.
right? But what you're saying, it's about getting the time back. Because if you can have the AI agent take over and have that level of automation behind it, then that's less manual work that you have to do to like call back and talk to them and try to schedule something, right? That's what you're talking about.
Hmm.
That's
Exactly right.
fantastic.
And then
Have you played any of these you say you haven't played in a while, but like any of these kind of factory automation games? Have you heard of these kind of like Factorio or Satisfactory? I think are some of the big ones.
no, not really. During COVID, I played what was that? Which one is it? The one where you're always building the walls, and you're building, and you have to, I can't think of the name of it. Uh, Clash of Clans. Yeah,
Clash
that's
of
it.
Clans. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, during COVID, I played that with my boys, you
Well, there
know.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I like about the factory automation games is that sense of, time management and efficiency side of it, which and a lot of it is this automation. You can make like one little item in one of the little constructors, one of the little factories, and it comes out on a conveyor belt. Great. But if you're like, well, I need it over here, and you're like, okay, so like I'm gonna make whatever item using like so I have take an example of like just a basic like I have an iron ingot and I need to make it into like a sheet of iron. I need to make steel sheets or something. And you go over to the thing, you're like, all right, I got the iron and I can hammer it out. It's like, no, you got to put it in the constructor. So now it's automated, so you don't have to touch it.
Hmm.
And then you can set up like 30 of them, and now you can have 30 of these things all producing at the same time. So just being able to scale it as well, just to say like, I don't, I'm not going to take the time. That's what they kind of teach you in these factory games. Like you don't want to be hand making everything, right? That's what the constructors are for, and that's what the little links are with the conveyor belts all to connect all the automation together. So I'm very curious, like all the different kind of steps and stuff that you do to make sure that the AI agents are working for you, and right, and it's not just like much, it's not just more manual intervention. I think that's what a lot of people worry about. It's like here's a new thing I have to learn, here's a new tool I have to use, and I don't have time for this. Right.
Hmm.
So how is it that you're making it like these games? Like how are you making it this much more simplified, automated process?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, my the solutions that I build out are really set it and forget it. You have the request for reviews is something that automatically happens. Say you're using QuickBooks. That's how you're getting your customers to pay you. All right. So a plumber finishes a job, the person pays for the service, and then they automatically get a text message. And so it's automated. The person doesn't have to log in. Somebody calls and leaves a message and interacts with the voice AI voice agent. On your phone, you just get a text message. You can listen to the recording or you can read the transcript and you can call them back. So it's not anything that you actually have to, it doesn't add work. It just makes your life easier.
That's fantastic. So having that level, like I said, that level of automation makes things faster and easier. So, okay, so we're getting to the point that we can have, that kind of front end kind of automated, right? Is kind of what you're saying, right? So it's mostly around the customer facing stuff, right? It is kind of like the CRM level of automation, right? Is what you're talking about.
Exactly right. And then the thing is, when you get busier, then we can take things to the next level with um, processes to help you with your sales process. Because, for example, say with this same plumber, I'm just using the plumber as an
Yeah.
example, right? Now their business is growing because they get more reviews and people are answering the phone. Right? Now we need to focus on customer retention. So I don't know if you know it or not, but if you have a tankless water heater, you don't just set it up just like a tank, well, water heater with a tank. A tankless water heater needs to be serviced every so often. It needs to be cleaned out. It needs to be serviced.
Yeah, I
So,
did not know. Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
So what if there's an automation where it automatically reminds them,
Mm.
1 year later or 2 years later, say, hey, it's time to service your water heater, you know, or one every winter tells them this is what you need to do to keep your pipes from being freezing, from freezing. Those types of services help you to have more customer retention, because more than likely, if the last time you talked to a plumber was when you got your water heater installed, 3 years ago, more than likely you forgot who that plumber was. So next time you have a pipe burst,
Wow.
you got to find a new plumber. But if there's services that keep the business top of mind, whenever you're thinking about a plumber, you're thinking about that guy who installed your water heater 3 years ago, you know. So those are the services
Yeah.
that I help them with is ways to keep you have more retention by automations, stuff that you don't think about, but it keeps you top of mind.
That's actually really powerful. That's something I didn't even think about. Yeah, for a plumber, because in my own experience, it's like, oh yeah, if I had to have something fixed, you know, every time it has to, a new thing has to be fixed, after a few years, it's just, I just go down the list again on Google and just be like, all right, let's find a new plumber again because it's either lost the business card, don't remember, like,
Hmm.
who was it that did it? And then sometimes it'll ring and be like, I think I used this person before. But yeah, But so having that retention, having that automated process again that you don't have to worry about
Hmm.
because it's not because you're saying it's not like a calendar reminder, right? And on your whether it's your Google Calendar or even just a task manager thing where it's just like, hey, reminder, text this person about their tankless water. No, you're saying it's just fully automated. It's just like it ought to be like you didn't even realize. Like it's like, oh, we sent out like, you know, 10 texts today to people that were previously customers.
Right, exactly. That's exactly how it works. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, that's what those kind of levels of automation are what I really love. Where it's like it's working so much behind the scenes to help you that you don't even sometimes realize unless you really like dig under the hood to be like, all right, what's actually happening, right? So,
Mhm.
and I guess to that point, so for those maybe the more tech savvy among them, like myself, so if they use their services, how much, I guess, what level of customization do they have? Right? Because I know we want to make it automated and easy, but if I'm like, oh, I like it, but I want to tweak something, like, can I do that? Is that something that you offer?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's highly customizable. The way I like to explain it is, um, you know how you got your Lego sets, right?
Yeah, love
And
Legos. Yep.
yeah, you have two options of Legos. You can buy the airplane or the Star Destroyer, right? And it's designed just for that. Right? You build out the airplane and it's got all the custom colors and stuff just for an airplane. And then you have the Lego set that's just a box of Legos, all random sizes.
Yep.
What I do is I have that random box of Legos. I talk to you about what you need, and then I build it out to fit your specific needs. So if you are a med spa, where you're giving a business, you're giving your clients Botox or weight loss solutions or facials and stuff like that. Your main thing is you need to educate your customers. You need to educate them on your services, what to expect when you go there. Are you going to have pain? How often should you get treatments? Stuff like that. Well, that's the solution you'll get. You have automations to remind your customers or educate them so they can come back, or they can recommend you. But if you're a plumber, totally different, right? You just need to keep them top of mind to get your service, your water heater serviced, and stuff like that. So that's what I do.
Okay. So to
Mhm.
use your Lego analogy a little bit further, so it sounds like so you have just imagine the huge box of Legos in the back that you're like, I can make you whatever you want. And then you kind of have I guess would I assume that you have like some kind of templates, I guess, for these kind of events, like whether you're med spa or whether you're a plumber, they're different, but depending on the potential. client, you could show them kind of like an example, be like, hey, plumbers usually do this. Like here's the plumber pre-built Lego set. Like here's the plumber plane, if you will, and using the Lego example. And then even from there, you said like it's these customizations or tweaks on top of it, right?
Hmm.
Because so you're basically saying it's not completely up to the customer to say like, hey, here's a random box of Legos. How would you like me to build it? It's like you still have the templates to say like, hey, this is what I would suggest for you, and then we
Right,
can tweak it from there.
right. It's just a matter of a discussion to figure out what are your pain points. What are the areas that you struggle with, and these are some solutions that I suggest is really going to help you.
That's wow, that's really cool. It's really fantastic. Yeah, I'm definitely into the AI side of things just to see like what the possibilities are. And I do
Hmm.
really like the idea of like kind of the AI assistant kind of thing. Like how far can AI do things for you, right?
Hmm.
And so I love the idea of the agent basically just talking for you, like scheduling calls, doing all these things. So that's really cool. And then kind of the back end as far as like texting and reminders and stuff. So very cool, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So as far as yeah, and I love to bring it back to games because I think games are just such a powerful teaching tool. So I think so for those I think especially that love these factory automation games, I think they would get it right. This level of automation.
No, they would.
Um, and I guess for those that aren't as familiar, I guess what would you say for these kind of people and like how you tell it, how you sell it? Because I assume that people come to you that say like, I want automation. This is great. I want to get my free time back, and I know that this can help me. So how is it that you educate for those that are not as either tech savvy or in the know or even fully understand what even the word automation means? Like, how
Mm.
do you talk to those kind of people? And for
Yeah,
those listening that are like what exactly is happening here?
yeah. The best way to explain it is just to focus on the pain or the struggle, right? Right. It's just focus on it and just talk about how, okay, you're working. You're so busy working, giving good service to your customers. What happens when the phone calls? Are you able to answer? If you're a real estate agent and you're busy showing a house, if somebody calls, are you able to pick up the phone? No. You know, who do they call next? The next real estate agent on their list. And so I have an automated system, or system where you don't have to think about it. It answers the phone and talks to the customer, and then you don't miss that call. Those are the types of services. You don't have to think about what happens on the back end. You just know it works.
That's really powerful. Gosh. Uh, I guess Thomas, what else? I guess what have we missed, right? So I love the talk of automation. I love the different systems, and maybe uh, I guess yeah. Did you want to explain? I guess more the sales process side of it, right? Because
Hmm.
the I think having a process is always enhances and kind of creates additional what is it consistency as part of the process. So what is it that we maybe have missed so far about the sales process side of what you do?
Yeah. Okay. Well, is when it comes to the sales process, they say usually it takes about 8 touch points or 8 contacts before you actually make a sale. About 8. But most people only try once or twice. And then when you add, when you don't have a sales process in place, it's not able to scale. Right? So say you're talking to one business, it's easy to navigate a sale. But if you're talking to say 10 or 20 customers, it's hard to really keep track of it. I mean, if you're doing it with pen and paper or a spreadsheet, a lot of times things fall through the cracks. So a sales process keeps those things going forward. Um, and also it helps you stay organized. I think I use the example of a real estate agent. So a real estate agent, of course, you're gonna need to stay in contact with certain people to get referrals. You got, you got inspectors, you have estimators, you have uh, building management companies, property management companies, all those types of people that you keep in contact with that's going to refer you business. You know, if you had a process in place to say, Joe, the real estate agent, I mean, Joe, the property management company, I need to speak to him once a month. So it just keeps you in track where it reminds you once a month to contact that person, and then keep the notes in one place. And then when it is that you look in this, it's called a CRM, Customer Relationship Management Program. When you look at that customer, you can see all their interactions here. You can see the last time you spoke to them here, all your notes and all the contact information in one place. So it really keeps you organized, but it's a big game changer when it comes to a business, being able to have systems in place to keep you from losing deals.
Gotcha. So having this kind of, and so coming from Salesforce, I think probably one of the biggest, maybe the most famous of the CRMs, right? That's out there.
Yeah.
Uh, so understanding that you need a CRM and it's being able to kind of organize and manage the information and the kind of the sales process. So I guess the simple question is, and we don't need to spend too much time on CRMs, but I guess, is there recommended ones for small business? Like, especially something like Salesforce seems like a little too big, maybe.
Mm.
Is there, I guess, are there other tools out there, or is that something you offer or something you suggest as far as specific tools?
Yeah, that's what I offer. I have one. It's called Inertia AI, and it's built out on top of a platform called Go High Level. And Go High Level is a CRM that's really designed for small businesses. It's not as expensive. It doesn't cost. I mean, a Salesforce implementation can cost tens of thousands of dollars. It can cost a lot of money. But these solutions are small, and it's you can customize it so much. Like for example, I got a voice AI agent, and I got the Google reviews and the sales processes, but you can do a whole lot more than just that.
That's great because I've definitely heard of the and have used a little bit of the Go High Level platform.
Okay, great.
So yeah, for those that have heard it, or I guess for those that haven't, right, it's definitely a huge system. I guess how many thousands of people have tens of thousands of small businesses, right, that use this now, right? It's been around for at least a few years. I'm trying to remember how long ago at this point. Uh, but yeah, I know it's been around for years and it's very widely used and widely trusted. So being able to take your system and put it on top of that kind of proven system, I think is really cool. So
Yeah.
amazing for that.
Mhm.
Gosh. So as we start to wrap up this particular episode, is there anything else, Thomas, that we've missed? Anything else to cover?
Just really, I think businesses, you really need to have some system to keep you on the right track. A lot of times you are business owners, especially if it's in the trades and stuff like that. You're really good at what you do. And because you're really good at what you do, you decide to do it for yourself. But being a good plumber or real estate agent or whatever doesn't mean that you're going to get a lot of business. All right. So processes to keep you going forward is gonna really take things to the next level.
I love that. So, yeah, I think in summary, for that point, what my takeaway from that is really, you could be the best plumber in the world, but if nobody knows that you're the best plumber in the world, you're not going to get calls, right?
Not gonna get calls. You're
You're gonna
not.
need those reviews. And if you're the best plumber in the world, you're probably going to be doing the plumbing. So
Right.
who's going to take the calls, right? And wouldn't it be great if there was an automated system and an automated process that could do that for you, right?
Right. Right. It really helps you. A lot of times it helps them bridge the gap between hiring somebody full time, which is way more expensive than that.
Yeah.
Just have something automated to be able to do that to take you to the next level where then maybe you do need to hire somebody to always answer the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes so much sense. So I guess the only question I have then, Thomas, is where can people learn more and find about you and your services?
Okay. Yeah, I have I'm on LinkedIn. and I'm also on Facebook. The name of my business is called Your CRM Specialist. You can always find me there. And then I can, do you post links and stuff at the bottom?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, for everybody that watching or listening, we'll have links in the description and the show notes where you
Okay.
can find Thomas and all his stuff. So
It'll all be there.
perfect. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Thomas, for being here. And one final question that we ask everyone on the show before we go, which is, what is your favorite video game?
Favorite video game? Uh, I really don't play video games that much. My favorite board game is called Let's Get Deep. It's for couples and for families. And I think that's what I really use a lot, really to draw people together, ask questions to learn about each other. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, we love the board games too, and I did hear you mention the Final Fantasy series too, at least on the video game side of it. I know
Yeah.
it's been a while, but
Yeah.
being a big
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy fan myself, I'm like, yes, let's.
Yeah. I would say it was Final Fantasy VII was the one that I
Ah, yep,
really isn't that the one with the guy? He's small, he's got the sword that's like twice the size of him.
yep. Cloud with his Buster Sword that's like twice as tall as he is.
Yeah,
Yep, that's the one.
yeah, yeah.
Good. All right. Well, absolutely love it. So, Thomas, thank you so much for being here. I guess final thoughts, one sentence. What would you say to the people?
Uh, do something that you love and then get real good at it.
I love that so much. Do what you love
All
and
right.
get good at it, guys. That's where the power is. So,
Mhm.
guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right.